Hello everyone. Today we are going to look at the form filling guidelines for IIM Rohtak aptitude test. As you can see on the screen, the test is on 21st May 2022. The timing of the test is 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. The link to fill the form is given on the screen. So I will come to that link and what are the details that we need to fill just a little later. What we are going to first look at, what are the documents that you need to keep ready before we actually get into form filling guidelines. Okay, so let us first look at the important dates that the IIM Rohtak people has given us. So the first important date for us is 2nd of May, which is the last date to fill the form. However, I would suggest please do not wait till the last moment. The second date is 21st May, the actual test date. The calls for the personal interview will be given somewhere around the second week of June. Personal interviews will happen somewhere in the 4th week of June. Announcement of the final result will happen around the first week of July, and in the first week of August, your academic calendar will start. That means your college will start. These are the dates that we have. Also look at the important cities where the test will be conducted. The test will be conducted in 28 cities across the India. Okay, and as you can see here, most of the important cities are already covered here. So you have a Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Kolkata, Delhi, Noida. Most of the important cities are taken care of. But these are the 28 cities wherein we need to be so that I can take the test. What is the eligibility now to take the entrance test? Any student who has either passed 12th standard, okay, or who is just about to give the 12th standard exam is eligible to take the test. However, there's a small criteria that you need to remember in terms of my age. The maximum age has to be 20 years as on 30th June 2022. So you have to be less than 20 years as per this date of 30th June. Okay. However, if you belong to a general category or an OBC category, you have to make sure that you have minimum of 60% in your 10th standard. Also, if you belong to any SC category or an ST category, okay, you need to make sure that you have a minimum of 55% in your 10th and 12th. Then and only then you are eligible to take this test. The other key information that you should keep in mind is IIM Rohtak is offering an integrated 5-year program. However, if you feel that at the end of the 3rd year, I want to quit the program, you have the option to do that. What happens? You will get a 3-year BBA degree from IIM Rohtak. However, if you want to get into their MBA program, which is for another further 2 years, you can definitely continue. However, there are some academic requirements that you will have to fulfill during this 3 years of your program. So the student will be promoted to an MBA program the 4th and the 5th year on successfully completing the minimum academic requirement in the first 3 years. Now, what are those requirements? They haven't specifically mentioned to us, but there are some requirements. Okay, and after 5 years, if you complete all the 5 years here, you will get an MBA degree from IIM Rohtak. Let us look at now the selection process. The first thing that you need to do is you have to take the test. If you clear the test, you will be shortlisted for personal interview. If you clear the personal interview, then the candidates will be judged on the basis of academics, general awareness and the communication skill. Okay, so you need to keep in mind this percentage weightage. Your aptitude test score will be converted to 45%, or you can say it is given 45% weightage. What about the remaining 55%? Your personal interview will be given a weightage of 15%. So that makes it a total of 60. I'm still left with 40%. That is divided between 20% for your ACADS in 10th standard, 20% of your ACADS in 12th standard. So based on this raw score that you get, you will be given the final admission. So let us also look at the test pattern. So the test has 120 questions. You will be given 120 minutes to answer this 120 questions. The test is divided into 3 sections. You get 4 marks for every correct answer. 1 mark is deducted for every wrong answer. There is no negative markings for any questions that you leave unattempted. Okay, so let's look at the 3 sections that we have. The 3 sections are, the first section is quantitative ability, which is nothing but maths. You have 40 questions, and remember, you have 40 minutes for this section also. Okay, that means the test, the IIM Rohtak aptitude test, has a sectional time limit to it. Okay, the second section is a logical reasoning section. You have 40 questions. Once again, you have 40 minutes. And the third section is verbal ability, 40 questions, 40 minutes. So in all, you have 120 minutes to answer 120 questions. For every right answer, you will get 4 marks. For every wrong answer, 1 mark will be deducted, and no marks will be deducted for not attempting any question. Okay, so let us now move on to some important instructions that you need to keep in mind before I go on to filling the form. The first thing that you need to remember is use mouse to move between fields for entry of data instead of using the tab key. This is one instruction which they have given. Now, what do I mean by this? When I write down my name, after I've completed writing my name, and if I want to enter, let's say, my address, normally when I switch between 2 fields, I use the tab key in my keyboard. Here, please do not use the tab key. They say use your cursor, use your mouse, and then click on the address field and then start typing your address. So this is what it means. Use mouse to move between 2 fields. The fields marked with asterisk are mandatory, are compulsory. That means you cannot skip it. If you skip it, you will not allow you to go on to the next page. Candidate must provide their correct name, date of birth, mobile number, email address, as these details cannot be changed at a later date. Okay, so once you fill in those, please make or double check that you have entered your correct spelling, you have entered your correct date of birth, your email address is correct because that's the mode of communication that is going to happen. Okay, your mobile number is correct because email and mobile number are 2 ways of communicating with you. Hence, please double check when you enter this data. Candidate has to fill the basic details to receive a user ID and password. That means first you will have to fill in some basic details. Once you get this done, you will get a user ID and a password from them, both in an email as well as via SMS. You then have to input that and fill your further details. Candidates will receive the user ID and the registered email address in the password. Candidate can log in with the user ID and password to complete the application form. The eligible candidates will have to pay a non-refundable fee of 3890. So 3890 is the fee that you will have to pay. You can use your credit card, you can use your debit card to pay this fees, but this is one-time non-refundable fees that you will have to pay for taking the entrance test. Okay, so now let us look at the checklist. What are the documents, what are the things that I will have to keep it ready before I start filling my form? The first thing that you need to keep in mind is your passport size photograph. Please make sure that this photograph is not more than 6 months old, because you will have to attach the same photograph in your hall ticket that you will receive at the later date. So please make sure that you have a latest photograph. Also, the background of your photograph should be either white or off-white background. The dimensions of your photograph has to be between 30 and 45 mm. So please make sure that your photograph should be in this dimensions before you actually upload it. Also, the maximum size of your file has to be 80 KB, and please make sure that it is either in JPEG format or the JPG format. So please make sure that these are 2-3 things that we have to keep in mind, okay? Or else if my size of the photo is more than 80 KB, it will just not get uploaded. So if I have to make sure that my sign gets uploaded for a photograph, the maximum file size has to be 80 KB. And as I just mentioned, you will require the same photograph to be uploaded here on the hall ticket. Hence, please make sure it is a latest photograph that you are using. Scanned image of your signature. Again, the file size here is also 80 KB. Again, it is either in JPEG form or JPG form. Scanned image of your SSC mark sheet. Maximum size is 150 KB, but please remember guys, here it is not a JPEG or a JPG. Here you will need a PDF form. So please make sure that your SSC mark sheet is in a PDF form, whereas your photograph and signature is an image. That means it's either a JPEG or a JPG format. So after you have completed filling the form, what are the things that you will have to keep in handy for further or future reference? The first thing is, once you see this application status as submitted, if you see this submitted, this verifies that yes, my form is complete. Okay, what are you supposed to retain with you? The hard copy of that application form. You will be able to download the hard copy of that application form and the fee receipt, which again you will be able to download it. Your user ID and password, which we have received in the first stage. Okay guys, so let us now look at how to fill the form. So the link which I had given you on the very first slide, I have just copied it here. So this is what your first page will look like. So when I take my cursor here, you will see two things: new user registration and complete application form. So first thing that I'll have to do is go to new user registration. So when I get into this new user registration, when I'm registering for the first time, it will once again give us some sets of instructions. So say for example, which are the Internet Explorers or Microsoft Edge or Google Chromes that you can use. So if your Google Chrome is not updated, you can update it. Okay. Further, it will also remind you that the last date of filling my form is 2nd of May and so on. So these are some basic instructions that we have already discussed, will once again pop up here. So I am closing those windows. So you need to make sure that you write down your name here. After filling into the name, as they had mentioned earlier, please do not use the tab window. Use your cursor or the mouse to switch now to date of birth. So please select your date of birth now. Then, as I said earlier, the next stage is your email ID. Please make sure that you input a correct email ID, because without which it will become very difficult for communication. So I input my email ID. I confirm that email ID again as mentioned. I confirm that again. Then I have to select my nationality. After I select my nationality, the next thing that you'll have to do is your country of residence. Once I do that, make sure that you input correct mobile number, and you will have to confirm that mobile number again. Once I have completed this, if you simply scroll downwards, make sure you click on I agree as far as the declaration is concerned. Make sure that you input the letters and the alphabets given here. So I have inputted all my details. Now I click on register. It will again ask you that you will not be able to change your email ID and your mobile number. So I confirm on that. I once again click on I agree, and this is your first step done. Now you will get and user ID and password on the mobile and on the email address that you have mentioned. Okay, so now you would have received your application ID and the password. So once again, now you need to go here, complete application form. Let's click on that. It will ask you to enter your candidate login, application ID and the password. So let us enter that first. Once you enter the details here, click on login. It will say that you have completed your step 1 of registration. So now the details that you have already filled in, your application number is seen here, your name is seen here, the date of birth is seen here, your email address is seen, your nationality is seen, and so on. Now what do? On the top right hand side, you will see go to the application form. So please click on the top right hand side. Your form will open up and we need to enter some more details. So now, as you can see, the name of the candidate is already mentioned. Now you need to make sure that you enter your father's name. If you want, you can enter your mother's name also. There is no asterisk there. So this is not a compulsory field. Then you need to select your gender. You need to select your category. If you belong to an OBC or SC or ST, please make sure that you select that. If you do not belong to any of the categories, please select general category. Your nationality is already mentioned here. Your mobile number is already mentioned here. Your email address is already mentioned here. The next thing that you need to fill in is your PWD category. So I select my PWD category. Then the next thing that you need to do is your correspondence address. So please make sure that you mention your proper correspondence address. You select your state. You select your district. You select your city. And you will have to enter your PIN code. So this confirms your address. Now, if your permanent address is same as the correspondence address, then please select a yes here so that everything will be copied in the permanent address column. If not, select a no and you will have to type in your permanent address. Once you have done this, you can see right at the top here, there are 4 things that you need to fill in. Your personal details, your academic details, your center preference and payment, and the document uploading. So we have finished the first stage here, which is personal details. So I click on save and next, and I will now get into the second column. So here now I need to input my aggregate marks here. In the second stage, we are filling in my academic details. So it is clearly mentioned here that your percentage of marks has to be up to 2 decimal points. Okay. So I select my academic details here. Which board have you studied from? So I select that board here. You will have to input the name of your school. You will have to input when have you completed your 10th standard. Then the result type. So now most of the times, differing on the board, you would either have secured a percentage or you would have secured a grade. If you have secured a grade, please select a grade here. However, if you have selected or if you have received percentage, please select marks obtained. You need to just input the top 5 subjects here. So 10th standard or SSC level normally have 6 subjects in them, but your top 5 subjects is what you need to mention here. So you enter your 5 subjects, marks obtained in each subject. This is the first thing that you will have to do here. And I have selected marks obtained, hence it is asking me to enter that. If you select grade, they will ask you to enter the grades that you have got in this 5 subjects. So quickly, let us just fill in this details here. In no particular order, you can select any of the 5 subjects wherein you have scored maximum marks, and you can see in that column at the bottom they have already calculated your percentage there also. So now let's enter into the second part, which is your 12th standard details. Up till now you are entering your 10th standard details. So have you completed your standard 12th? If yes, click here and they will ask you whether it is 12th equivalent or a diploma and so on, and they will ask you your aggregate marks, your board from where you have done your 12th, your college from where you have done your 12th, and the year of completion. However, if you have not completed, which is what the case would be for maximum students, so you select a no, and then once again the same details wherein you are doing your 12th from, you need to enter. Okay, so let us just do that quickly. So I have entered my academic details here. As I said earlier, there are 4 parts to this form. This is where we end our second part. So once again I click on save and next, and I get into the third part wherein the details of your preference or the cities where you want to take the test, they will ask us. So you have 3 options. So definitely please very carefully look at the options that we have. As I said earlier, there are 28 cities that are available to us. Okay, so please make sure that you select the closest one to you. Okay, so once you are done with selection of the 3 cities, your third part is also taken care of. Once again I click on save and next, and I move on to the last part. In the last part, you will have to look at the document upload. That means you can see here you need to upload your scanned copy of photograph and signature. Okay, and the payment details is given. So the payment details is 3890. Once you upload the photograph, signature and your 10th standard mark sheet, and once you submit here, the next page that you will get is the payment page. You will come across various videos and webinars on IPM 2022 preparation strategies. That's the first thing that you will come across. You will get form filling guidelines for IIM Indore, the CUCET entrance test and the IPU entrance test. Further, please make sure that you subscribe to the IMS Careers YouTube channel. You will get all the necessary details there regarding when the form filling starts, what are the dates, what are the deadlines and so on. So all the best for your IIM Rohtak entrance test. If you have any doubts, please make sure you go to your closest center and get it clarified. Thank you.